Most golfers stand over a putt and they're thinking about their stroke, their line, their mechanics. And that's the exact reason that they miss so many putts. In this video, I'm going to show you the one thing and the only one thing that you should be thinking about when you're standing over a putt. And this one thing makes everything putting so much easier. So when you're standing over a putt and you're thinking about line or your stroke or your mechanics or your speed or don't do this or don't do this or don't do this or do this or do, all of those things distract you from the task that's really important. And I'm going to give you a silly little practice technique that will transform that. You're going to think I'm absolutely crazy, but just stick with me, trust me, and watch this, and it will cause your brain to refocus. You'll roll putts better than you ever have before. Two things. One, there's a process. There's a process for reading the green, for picking a target line and a starting line. There's a process that you go through when you're setting up and stroking the putt. All that's your routine, and that's important. And you ought to practice that until you nail it down and your process is automatic. It's so routine that it actually is routine. That's important, and you do that in practice. But when you're out on the golf course, that process should be such a part of who you are because you've done it so many times that when you're out on the golf course, you don't think about any of that. You stand over a putt and you think about your target. And the reason is, if you're standing over the ball thinking about all of that process, your brain gets distracted. Here's a human fact. Our brains are really good at accomplishing a task if we communicate to them clearly what that task is. And in putting, the task is rolling the ball at a target. So here's what I want you to do. Go out on the practice green before a round and make what I call some silly putts, about 25 silly putts. And I'm going to illustrate for you what I mean right now. So, silly putts. Go out on the green and just randomly drop a ball, step up to that ball as quick as you can, pick a target, and stroke a putt. And wow, this is 30 feet, and that missed by maybe 8 inches just right of the hole. Didn't do anything, didn't think about anything other than the target. All right, let's do it again, and I'll drop a ball somewhere different. Same putt, set up, look at the target, make a stroke. And that one missed slightly, but the speed and distance was absolutely perfect, and I didn't think about it. What's going on here? Stick with me a minute, and I'm going to show you, and you're going to think this is crazy. Now, the next what I call silly stroke or crazy stroke is take the putter all over the place, the wiggle, waggle stroke or whatever. I'm going to take this putter back doing it like that. Let's just watch and see how this works. So I set up to this putt, and I've got my target. Now my takeaway. And that's a pretty good line. It's about 1.5 feet past the hole. And I started that last one outside. I'm going to start this one inside and just wobble it around all over the place in the stroke. It really doesn't matter. So I've got my target, and here we go. Let's do another one just for fun. And again, wiggle the putter all over the place. And that one missed by a couple of inches. And now one more. And just going crazy. And woo, that one missed by about 1/4 inch. And here's with a different camera looking overhead so you can see the wild, crazy stroke I'm making with the putter. Now stick with me for a minute, and I'm going to explain what's going on and how I'm able to get these crazy putts so close to the hole. And then do a couple of 5 or 6 footers where you're really not doing much, just the between the leg stroke, and that missed. And then the between the legs backward stroke. And that missed, but both of those are reasonably close if you consider what I'm doing here. And then the 40-foot one-hand swat. So what's going on here that I can make these silly, crazy strokes, put the ball in the hole sometimes, and get it close to the hole every time? Your brain is really good at making your body accomplish a task if you give your brain very clear communication. So when I'm making that crazy stroke, my brain knows the task is to roll the ball up the line and into the hole. And so at the last instant, my brain recenters, focus, squares this club face to a target line, or causes my hands and arms to square it to a target line, and stroke it at the right pace so that it gets near the hole. That's just something my brain automatically does. Think about it this way. Your children or grandchildren leave a bunch of toys or Legos in the floor, and you don't want to step on those, but you're walking across, you've got to get past them, and then you'll come back maybe later and pick them up or whatever. But you don't think about it. Walking is really a complex operation. It didn't come natural. You weren't born knowing how to walk, you had to learn. And so your brain is telling your feet, okay, you step about this far, and then you twist a little bit here, and then you move to this side, and then you step with the other foot. Your brain is doing all of those things instantly, just like that. And when you focus on a very specific small target, when you're standing over the ball, your brain takes over and causes you to move the putter head in a way that rolls the ball at that target at a pretty close to the right speed. But what we do so many times is we start thinking other things. And usually those other things that we're thinking are, don't do this, don't do that, don't do blah, 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 blah. The problem there is your subconscious mind cannot process a negative. So you're saying, don't arc it too far inside. That's exactly what you're going to do. You're saying, don't leave it short. You're confusing your brain. Your brain is thinking, oh, don't hit it too firm. Get it all the way there. Your brain just can't process a negative command. You're thinking, oh, straight back and straight through. Don't arc it. Your brain is going to arc it. So two things to work on here. One is process. Develop a process for reading the green, for picking a target, for going into your putting routine to set up on that target. Make that such a process. You've done it so many times that it's just automatic. You don't have to think about it. And then when you're standing over the ball, I want you to think about that target that's on your line out beside the hole. Think about the intermediate target, 8 or 9 inches in front of your ball. You can see it in your peripheral vision. And I want you, before you step in and set up, to see the putt rolling up that line and going in the hole. Mentally visualize that, like Tiger Woods' dad taught him when he was a very young child. Look at the putt, take a picture, take a picture, take a picture. You're creating a little video reel inside your mind of the ball rolling up that line and into the hole. And then when you stand over the ball, I don't want you to think about the hole, don't think about setup, don't think about mechanics. Think about only that target. So much that you see and you feel and you know and you hear the ball rolling on the ground. You actually hear it spinning end over end on the ground, and you hear it and see it in your mind's eye going into the target. Think about the target and the target only, and then stroke the putt. You'll get a lot closer. Did a video related to this, or a similar video to this, a couple of years ago, and I had the lady who was running my camera that day. She never played golf before, never even played putt-putt. And she went out on the practice green the first time she ever stroked a putter with a putter that wasn't fitted or suited to her, never even had one in her hands before, rolled the ball and hit the target. Now the putt didn't go in, she hit it too firm, but she was on line. She made 4 putts, 2 of them went in, all 4 hit the hole, and she had no training, no mechanics, simply a focus on the target. It works that good because you give your mind an instruction to follow, and it follows that instruction. So this putt's got a little break to it, and I want to go past the hole, so I put my target right here, just past the hole. And then out in front of my ball a little bit, there's this little blade of grass, and I line those two up. I'm thinking about that. Now, I stand over the ball. Once I've completed my setup, I look at the target. I'm visualizing the ball going up that line into the hole. Now I'm thinking about nothing but the target and make the stroke. So work on the process part of this until you're very consistent at reading the green, picking a target, setting up to that target. And then don't think about the process on the course. Only think about your target. Target, 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 nothing else. Focus on that. Trust your body. Trust the fact that you've practiced the process. You'll roll them closer to the hole. And then before every round, go out and do about 25 of these silly strokes where you're weaving and waggling and wobbling the putter all over the place, where you're stroking some between your, where you're doing just silly nonsense things so that your brain has to, at that last moment, refocus on squaring the club face to the target. Promise you, if you'll do this, you will be absolutely amazed at how much it improves your putting. And if you like tips and tricks like this to improve your putting, take the easy tap in on that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends, comment on your results from trying this crazy silly stroke method in the comments section. Check out this video on the screen now, and until next time, here's to you making more putts.